How to make Corona Carnival costume using t-shirt, plastic bottles and cards, part 1. Tape measure, scissors, cutting knives, markers, pens. For joining material, stapler, masking tape, double-sided tape, dots, hot melt gun or even contact glue. 7 A4 card sheets or PVC sheets equivalent, t-shirt, 3 1-litre bottle, 6 half-a-litre bottles and 2 1/3 bottle. Using a chalk, mark out the positions to be cut off. Headband 3 inches, neckband 2 inches, armband 1.5 inches, footband 1.5 inches, mask string 1 inch, leg stroke waistband 1 inch, leg stroke waistband 1 inch. Measure about 1 inch from the end and mark 1.5 inches intervals for the drawstring. Cut off the hem to make the waist strap. Cut 3 inches strap to make the headband. Cut 2 inches strap to make the necklace. Cut 1.5 inches strap to make the handband. Cut 1.5 inches strap to make the footband. Cut 1 inch strap to make mask string. Finally, cut 2 lengths of 1 inch straps to make waistbands. Fold the material over, cut or pierce holes 1.5 inches apart. Thread through the hem of the t-shirt in the holes at the bottom of the t-shirt using a sharp edge or the scissors. Cut off both sleeves, leaving the seam on the t-shirt. Making the mask. Fold the t-shirt sleeves so that the seam is in the middle of the t-shirt. Using the 1 inch strip, stretch and cut the end. Put it through the t-shirt sleeve, leaving the curved end at the bottom. And ensure the sleeve is flat and the strings are at the side. Lift the t-shirt string and fit it over your head. Put the t-shirt over your face and then pull the strings tight to create your mask. Fold the sleeve in half, aligning the edges together. Cut the edge of the t-shirt where it's sewn at the same time with the other half to produce 2 equal parts. Trim the end of the sleeve to create a small point, resulting in two halves of the t-shirt to create the front sections of the costume. Using the 1-inch strip from the t-shirt, cut and thread through the edge of this t-shirt sleeve using a pin. Repeat the process for both halves of the t-shirt sleeve. Identify two parallel marks around the bottle circumference. Use the mark nearest to the cap as a guide and cut the bottle into two pieces using a knife or a scissors. Cut off the bottom of the plastic bottle using the same process. Make divisions of about 19 millimeters wide on the masking tape. This can be done using the masking tape width as a guide. Wrap the masking tape around the edge of the plastic bottle. Use a marker to then transfer the incrementation of 19 millimeters on the inside of the bottle. Using the scissors, cut along the length of the plastic bottle to the mark. Ensure that each cut is parallel. Finally, cut the bottle completely open and bend the strips back to 90 degrees to the edge of the bottle. Starting from the edge of the curvature, cut off about 2 inches from the end of each alternative strip. Okay, so this strip is a 3-inch strip. I made it 3-inch because for the headpiece I will be attaching some other two other designs on the edge of these, so I've made it slightly wider, and you'll see that a bit later. So to assist me to find out where the center is, I am going to simply use my chalk and mark somewhere near the center. I'm now going to line the center of this, so I'll put a little dot there with the center of this. So I'll start from the center. And using the stapler, I'm going to staple as close as I can to the bend of the plastic. So that when this fabric falls over, it will hide this staple. So I've got the center there. Just need to pull the fabric taut around there and put another staple in. By the way, yes, I should staple from the inside. And that would prevent the edge of the staple aggregating your skin. And having done one half, I will now proceed to do the other half. Okay, I'm now going to make the neck piece, and I'm using the same cutout as I did for the headpiece. The only difference now is I'm going to use double-sided tape around the edge to secure the fabric instead of staples. I've already put the tape on, so I'm now going to peel the paper off. Once again, I've already marked roughly where the center is and the center of this fabric, I've cut it into half the length, and I'm now going to match the center with I'm not going to match the center with the mark. In this particular case, it's important that I don't stretch it too much, because there'll be a tendency to want to pull it. So I'm trying not to pull it, but allow it to fall naturally. Oops. All right. Okay. So having done that, what I now need to do is put some double-sided tape on here and then fold this over like that. So it just fits nicely around the neck. Oops. Oh. Okay, so that's basically it for this particular stage. How to make Corona Carnival costume part 4, foot band and armband. Okay, I want to use the full length of the bottle, and I need to have a band across here for this particular section here. However, there's only one natural mark around the edge, the others are wavy. So to avoid having a wavy cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mark around it. And the way I intend doing that is simply this. I line up my pen with where the mark needs to be, and rotate the bottle. Back to the position. And the same thing applies to the top here. There isn't a natural mark. Cut off the top and bottom of the bottle. Mark and cut the bottle into strips as shown on previous exercise. Cut the bottle into 2 halves. Bend strips at right angles to the base and trim off about 50 millimeters alternative strips. Secure the 1.5 inches t-shirt strip to the end of the plastic using double-sided tape as previously demonstrated. They're going to be made from these 500 milliliter bottles. Right, firstly, I'm going to transfer the natural division of the plastic bottle past the mark I'm going to cut. So I'm just bringing those marks down. Cut off the bottom of the bottle. I'm now going to cut the top off using that mark there, and then I'll cut them to that particular line. Cut off the top of bottle. Cut the side into strips. Bend the strips into right angles to the base. Trim the alternative strips and cut off the end if necessary. Stick the t-shirt strips to the plastic curve using double-sided tape. How to make Corona Carnival costume part 5, the virus. The principle is always the same. Use the natural shape of the bottle to create the distances. Cut off the bottle bottom. And proceed to cut down to the neck of the plastic bottle. Cut the bottle into strips using the marks from the bottom of the bottle. Bend and crease the strip to the right angle of the bottle. Sometimes it's good to just apply a little heat just to ensure that they stay in the same position, especially for the thicker plastics. Using a hairdryer, apply the heat directly in the middle of the plastic bottle and apply enough heat until the plastic begins to deform, and remove the heat immediately. Trim off about 40 millimeters off each alternative strip. How to make Corona Carnival costume, part 6. Fitting the end of the virus. To get the best use of the sheets, I have calculated that if you get a template, if you use a template that's 47 millimeters across there, and this is just made from a bit of plastic and plastic bottle. And using a scissors, we just need to cut along the edge there until we get the right diameter. Having got the right diameter, we then can use the sheet economically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4, that gives you 24. And we just need 4 sheets to make the 96 that's required for the very basic costume. The next size, which is the smaller one, again the same process of simply using plastic bottle, cutting it to the right size until it's about 35 millimeters across. And in this case you can get 8 along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Times that by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get 40 per sheet, and if you use 3 sheets, you get 120, which is slightly more than required for the basic costume. To cut multiple sheets at a time, it's useful to staple the ends together in the corners and the sides. This process is about how to secure the round circles to the edge of your plastic. There are 3 different methods I'm going to demonstrate. The first one is about using dots. Mini craft dots. I have found that sticking with dots is not very secure if the plastic surface is not flat. Okay, the next method of sticking, I'm going to use a low melt gun. I said low melt because if it's really hot, chances are it may burn the plastic. but I've always used low melt anyway. So if you are using hot melt, make sure that the glue cools down slightly before you stick it onto the plastic. Using the staple method is my least favorite method, but if you only have a stapler and no hot melt or sticky dots or double-sided tape, then you need to use this. This is how I found it's best to do it. Okay, to prevent the stapler moving around when you're trying to position it, I've just sellotape the stapler to the surface. I want the staple, the good part, to be showing on this side. So I put the plastic, align the plastic underneath the staple. Then put the then put the dot on top. Make sure it's in the right position and then press down firmly to secure it. And that's the end result. Whilst it's my least favorite method, it certainly is the most secure method. Well, certainly is a very secure method. How to make Corona Carnival costume part 7. Having made the individual viruses like this, it's now about understanding how to turn it into something looking like this. And this process I'm going to demonstrate applies to the rest of the costume in terms of attaching the virus to the fabric. I'm working backwards just to demonstrate how it's done. So it's basically the cap is screwed onto the material. So that's the material there. And that's the virus. So put the virus in position and screw the cap onto it. Okay. And you do one on either side. Okay. The front and back of the costume. The cap, the virus, put the fabric over it, and screw the cap on tight. You have the front section, and the back section is exactly the same. Although this particular section can be used on the side leg as well as an option, as another option. Now it's important that it's tied as high as possible next to the string, because that will help it to stay upright. If you were to mount that down at the bottom there, because there's no support, it will simply bend over. I'll just demonstrate that for you. So that would mount down there. That's what would happen. It would bend over because there is no support. Hence the reason why it needs to be mounted as close as possible to the string. In that way, it stays up. Okay, now finally, it's down to putting the virus onto the t-shirt. And the exact positioning is not being determined, and it would be better to be determined when the person have the t-shirt on, because it will fit differently on different people. But as a guide, we'll put one about there, one about there, one about here, and two at the back. And the process of fitting them is exactly the same as I've demonstrated earlier. Ensure that the caps are fully tightened